notice, and I call Senator McCarthy. Senator McCarthy.
My question is to the Minister representing the Prime Minister, Senator Brandis. The Prime Minister has on at least 16 occasions ruled out his government amending Section 18C of the Racial Discrimination Act. Today, on Harmony Day, we learn that the Turnbull government is proposing the removal of the words insult, offend and humiliate from Section 18C. What insulting, offensive or humiliating comments does the Prime Minister think people should be able to say to me?
Order. On my left, the question has been asked. The Leader of the Government of the Senate and representing the Prime Minister, Senator Brandis. Senator Brandis.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr President. Well, Senator, might I begin by correcting the premise of your question? The Prime Minister has never, not on 16 occasions, not once said the government would never reform Section 18C of the Racial Discrimination Act. What he did say, as was the case at the time, that it wasn't a priority for the government. Nevertheless, Senator, I think we all know that events have happened in this country in the recent past, in particular the treatment of the QUT students, which was disgraceful, the treatment of the late Bill Leak, which was disgraceful, the report of the Joint Parliamentary Committee on Human Rights, to which Labor senators and members of the House of Representatives continue, which proposed beneficial law reform. What the Prime Minister and I announced a short while ago was a strengthening of the anti-vilification provisions of the Racial Discrimination Act. And Senator McCarthy, what you didn't mention in your question, but I think is a very important consideration, is the insertion into Section 18C of the Racial Discrimination Act of a prohibition against racial harassment. Now, you know, Senator McCarthy, that in 1991, when the then, if your leader, Senator Wong, would just control herself, I might be able to direct your question. What you may or may not know, Senator McCarthy, that in 1991, the then Human Rights and Equal Opportunity Commission—
Order, Attorney General. On my left, just a moment, Senator Cameron. Oh, just a moment, Senator Cameron. I'll call you in a moment. I will need quiet on my left and my right, Senator Cameron, a point of order.
Thanks, Mr President. On relevance, the question was, what insulting, offensive or humiliating comments does the Prime Minister think that people should be able to say to the Senator? That was the question. He has not gone near it, and he should actually take off the Harmony badge. It's absolutely crazy that you got that on.
Order. On my left, Senator Dastiari. On the point of order, Senator Cameron, the Attorney-General has been giving a detailed response to a detailed question, and Senator Brandis is aware of the question. Senator Brandis, you have 28 seconds.
Mr President, so Senator McCarthy, in 1991, when the current Part 2A of the Racial Discrimination Act was recommended, the Human Rights and Equal Opportunity Commission actually recommended to the Parliament that one of the grounds of racial vilification should be harassment. That was one of the grounds recommended by the predecessor body of the Human Rights Commission. For some unaccountable reason, that was not done.
Thank you, Attorney General. The time for
government.
answering the question has expired. Senator McCarthy, a supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr President. Minister Wyatt has twice indicated he would cross the floor to vote against changes to 18C. What consequences will there be for members of the coalition who vote against the Turnbull government's attempt to water down protections against racism?
Attorney General, on my right, Attorney General.
Well, Senator McCarthy, I am absolutely certain that every member of the coalition will be voting for these changes to strengthen Section 18C. Every last one of them.
Thank you, Attorney General. Senator McCarthy, a final supplementary question.
When asked why the government had no plans to amend 18C, the Prime Minister said, and I quote, "We did not take an 18C amendment proposal to the election." End of quote. Why is Prime Minister Turnbull willing to cave in to the right of his party room on 18C, but continues to refuse a free vote on marriage equality despite the defeat of his proposed plebiscite?
Attorney General.
Well, Senator McCarthy, although I'm a little loath to dwell on internal politics, may I say that strengthening protections against racial vilification and vindicating freedom of speech are causes that are embraced by all elements of the Liberal Party and all elements of the coalition. You may say, Senator McCarthy, that Section 18C of the Racial Discrimination Act and the complaint handling procedures of the Australian Human Rights Commission Act are perfect and incapable of reform. You may say that, but if you do, you would be alone, because there is no serious person in this country who has followed the human rights debate who says that Section 18C in its current form, which actually omits to prohibit racial harassment, let me say that again, omits to prohibit racial harassment, or the complaints handling procedures of the Human Rights Commission can't be improved. Certainly that's what Professor Gillian Triggs has said, and I agree with her.
Thank you, Attorney General. The time for answering the